So I'm going to run this plaster cornice in. I'm going to run it along, match the original, run it to this corner, and obviously patch that bit up again above the conduit. So before I run my plaster cornice in situ, I've got to build this wall out flush for a nice level edge to work off. So first things first, bucket of bottom, and she's mixed pretty up the brim. So I've scrim taped all the inside scrims here and the top angle as well. I haven't scrimmed the board to the existing yet because obviously I'm going to straighten it all off here, and I tend to find when you scrim it before you do all your straightening, the scrim either frays or pulls up and tears off. So my plan is to bed it in later on when I'm keying up the bonding, just to make life that bit easier. Why make it hard? Plastering's hard enough. So yeah, if the joiner had set this out, I think he built it with the mind that this was going to be patched, but obviously you can see a big hole in the wall there and stuff. There's a couple other defects in the wall, so this wall's going from corner to corner now, and it hasn't went all the way over to the right. It's just going to be a cupboard, I think, for coats, a wee cloakroom. So on the right there, if you look up high as well, I'm going to have to do something up there, and the fella doesn't want the inside there skimmed, but up until that point we'll obviously have to return the plasterboard just to kill the bead, because I'm going to plant the bead on here also, get everything well prepped. So my aim here is to fill this all out with bonding nice and flush, cut back my door frame, have my bead on, and then get the scrims bedded in as well if the bottom's still a bit tacky for me. You can see that the ceiling's gridded, so that should give me a nice key for my casting plaster. And then obviously the ceiling's to be plastered as well. So the plan will be ceiling, then walls. And the reason to do it that way is when you plaster the ceiling, it tends to drip a wee bit down and will leave yourself with walls to clean off and scrape. So if you do the ceiling first before you plaster the walls, you'll have a little less work to do, a little less cleaning, and just a slightly more professional job. Obviously some jobs will be that bit easier to do. It might actually be easier to do some walls before the ceiling, just depends on how awkward things is, what's going to be the bulk in the first day and stuff. But generally I tend to want to hit the ceiling first and then all walls. And so yeah, a bit of work on this wall to get it out. Quite a bit of coat on it for bottom, nothing too major, but you gotta set your foundations out if you wish. And my idea is to get this top line straight from point to point so that I have a nice straight angle to work off. We all know plastering's all about the angles, and the straighter the angles the better. And I must have missed a bit of scrim tape there. I'm just bedding it in now. A couple of scrim tapes I must have missed. So you don't want to miss any, especially on plasterboard when it dries out. And if the plaster shrinks any, you will find it'll definitely crack on these points. So scrim tape is a must on plasterboard. And I will show it all done at the end, how I prep it up ready for skim. But at the minute I'm gonna coat the whole wall before I start trying to straighten it all up, and just get it all covered basically, and then I can pull it off and fill in any hollows. And I'll be straightening it with a Tizak spatula, the Spear and Jackson one. And the tools I'm using is the Refiner trowel and a Pointsman hawk here. And later on I will have to horse up a tool and cut a template to suit the original cornice, which is it's not a normal cornice what you would normally get. it's a bit of a strange curve in it. It's very sharp curve. So it's I actually have another running tool in the van, which would have been the more normal type that you get in these older houses, which it's a more gentle curve on it. But it is what it is. Have to make another one up. Simple as. So I didn't record any of that. But it maybe well, if this video does well, or people want, they can ask, and I'll show them how I went about my business making the template and stuff, and horsing it up. Horsing it up is when you knock up all the bits of wood and stuff, so it's nice and square, and it can run along the ceiling and the wall. And you can also set buttons and stuff up, but my technique was running from the two small ends and then running the both end each other. Now, when you're working in situ, you'll always have to freehand the corners and rule them in, and so there will be time spent on all inside corners, which will be pretty fun. So I find doing it in situ is a bit messy, so you'll always want to get a dust sheet down when you're doing things like this. So the whole wall's on, time for the Tezak, and get this wall nice and straight. It's not too difficult for me here, pulling up off the door frame to the original. And what that'll do at the bottom as well is it'll make the joiner's job that bit easier, as it'll be nice and flat right across for his skirting, so he can thank me later. But yeah, I will actually use a bigger straight edge along the top. As you notice, the smaller straight edge I have is great for going up and down the smaller angles here, but when it comes to the top, I'm going to want something that will reach right across, and I'll think it's a Faithful Tools straight edge I'm using, or possibly one from Rambo Tools. I'm not 100% sure. I've had most of my aluminium straight edges a long time. I do take care of them, keep them clean as possible, which in turn will take care of you, because they'll be a bit lighter, so they'll be easier to work with, and they'll always stay straight if you keep them clean. If you're cleaning them with a hammer, they're going to be for the bin in no time. But I do love these wee Tezak spatulas for doing certain wee jobs like this, and you can see that it's already got the wall pretty straight up from the frame to the existing. But yeah, they're light, and they get the job done, so I find them pretty versatile for a lot of wee small jobs and even big jobs and like the ceilings and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, I'm getting this straightened up here, lovely. And it's now time for the bigger straight edge that will reach corner to corner for me. And just checking the door frame's sweet as well. So I don't mind too much if I'm a wee bit heavy up above the line of the bottom of the cornice, but I certainly need to go up to the cornice and have it really, really straight. Otherwise I'm going to be just wasting my time here, even filling it out. And again, the reason I filled it out is when I make up my template, it'll run through then across, and when we come to reskin this whole wall, it'll also lose the same amount of the bottom edge on both sides, keeping the cornice and the ceiling both sides again. We'll be keeping the cornice nice and true to itself. So I think that was very important, and that's what I was trying to keep, is nice even margins on the cornice, so that you'll be able to notice it patched if you didn't. Yeah, if you're still with us, hit the thumbs up for us. I appreciate you guys watching, and here I am now, just giving my bonding. It's tightened up a good bit. Didn't want to travel too early, as I said. It was quite heavy, and I find if you try your bonding too early and it's heavy, it can sag and move, and you're back to square one, needing to straight edge it again. So I've let this pick up quite well. A lot of other wee things to be run about doing here on this job, so I was able to let that pick up, give it a trial in, and maybe the set, I would say maybe sitting on 30 minutes, maybe not even just quite that time. I did get it on quite fast, and it's on plasterboard. Plasterboard's low suction, But what I'm doing now, as you can see, the camera has changed to the wider angle lens as my other camera ran out of battery, and I think this one also started playing up with battery as well, so I had to conserve battery power here, and that's the reason we've switched to cameras now. And yes, I didn't remember my chargers, but yeah, just getting a wee bit of water on it and channeling it up, making sure there's nothing too ugly in it, no too many major holes, and also cutting back my door frame, which is important to allow the 3mm skim in. So you're going to want to have a bit of a track cut. I'm also cleaning the door frame as I go, and I'm just showing you here that there's more than just brushing your bonding, and I think this is the main method most people do use, and that's rubbing it with the float, as you can see. And nice clean door frame ready for skim, very important. And here's the scrim cloth as promised. I find it a bit easier to put that on then than earlier. Here's how I get over this. I've built myself a wee stud in across, and hopefully I know the calculations worked out well. I have a couple of nails here to pull out. So we're ready to get messy here. I just flicked it on by hand, guys, and washed my hand after. You can use a bucket trowel or a scoop or something and just flick it on. Now I'm not using any size. I'm just going just straight casting plaster, and it does set very quickly. My techniques were obviously I made firsts up and seconds. So my firsts were going on and I was pulling it out, and then my seconds was cleaning it up. You can see here, and just working out of the bucket, getting as much on as I can so that I can actually scrape it all back off again. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, the camera let me down here with the battery power, so I was limited on things I was able to capture. But if people are really interested in this side of plastering, I will try and run up a few more things. I do have more things planned for the future, but I would have loved to get a couple of close-ups with the tripod and stuff, but the camera that was capable of getting nice images from close-up is dead, like I said. But I'll show you it all finished at the end here, so you stick about and I'll show you everything skimmed up and how the cornice came in, and I'll even show you how the cornice came in after this day. So just pulling back now, getting the shape in, and it is very messy this, so probably at your first time trying it, definitely wear old clothes and get ready to get dirty, as plastering is dirty, but doing something like that in situ with no size is extremely dirty. But I find when there's no size in the stuff, it cuts back nicer and gives you a cleaner finish. Whether with size in it, it tends to sort of peel a bit on the surface. But yeah, so build up your confidence, guys. I'll do the small parts first, and the way I've done it is I actually have the bit behind myself done here above the conduit that's finished and all, and I'm doing this one in, and that'll give me a point to run. I can strike a chalk line from the bottom of each one straight across, and then I know what my line is to follow. So not running plaster molds in is not the easiest. It's actually, there's a bit of work involved in it as well. My shoulders were a bit tight after this, so to say the least. And you can see I've got everything well covered up here on the floor, as it sure is. I'm sure definitely dropping some, because this stuff sets probably in about 15 minutes, starts becoming very unusable, so you don't have long to work with it. So you gotta be quick off the mark if you're not using size in it. And just set up some trestles, and I'm pulling it towards myself so we can see what gaps. Same as a straight edge, same principles, filling in the hollows basically. Any scrape marks and stuff, or if there needs to be stones I've got into it, they need to pick them out and stuff. But yeah, if I get across another job, I will be doing this again in the future, no doubt, and I will, if people are definitely that interested, I'll get some nice close-ups of it getting cut back and stuff as well. Maybe something with a wee bit more detail, as this one's, it's just the usual stuff. Could have ran it in the bench and then fitted it also, but I found this was going to work in just easier for this type of job. Possibly would have been maybe easier to run these two sides in situ and then maybe have one ran on the bench and fitted along the door wall there, but came in alright, and the owner was really really pleased with it. So that's the main goal. As long as the guy owns the house is happy, you're happy. And as you can see, I've already struck this off a good few times. And if you notice anything building up on the wall or the ceiling, you're going to have to clean off them 2 points to keep it, keep it all square. If stuff starts building up and setting, you're just coming down then, and it won't be as clean and tidy as you'd wished. So here we are. The joint came in marvellous, and that's a bit of a sorry about this camera again, guys. I know some people don't like the fisheye, and this is the fisheye cracked it as best as possible, but it'll definitely not happen again, trust me. And that's the bigger one pulled in. You can see that it's not it is a curve, but it's quite a sharp right angle. Still a wee bit more tidying up to do here, just on this miter here. You can see very rough looking, but the rest is all finished sweet. And just taking a bit of a break here just to get a couple of clips of how it looks after I'm done. And you can see that edge, what I'm talking about, keeping that edge the same margin the whole way along. And a wee quick look at the way this came in, pretty nice. So here it all is finished up, and it's looking pretty well. You didn't want the door wall done, so this job, there was a lot of bits and pieces in it, and just certain walls he wanted tidied up, and obviously the big ceiling. So it's all skimmed in very well, in my opinion anyway. And door frames and stuff wiped down, it's starting to look the part.